than you. Yeah. Does it make sense for the Niners to move away from Brandon Aiyuk and go ahead and part ways?
It will make sense for the number that he's asking. I'm assuming that he's asking for about $28-30 million a year. I don't know if he's necessarily, I wouldn't say worth it, but I don't know if the Niners necessarily need to give him $28 to $30 million when you already prepared for this. You went into the draft and you drafted Ricky Purcell because you knew that this was going to be something that might not happen. So you have Deebo Samuels, you have Purcell, you have Kittle, you have Christian McCaffrey. You still have Jawan Jennings. Like, you still have those guys, a lot of playmakers around Brock Purdy. So to give a guy $30 million a year, which I think he's asking for, because rumor is they offered him around 26, and he's sitting here saying that they don't want me. So obviously that's not the number that he wants, because if somebody offered me $26 million and I'm a year and I'm like, hey, man, they don't want me, that ain't the number I'm looking for. So I'm assuming he's looking for, hey, somebody going to get hurt in the preseason, whatever it may be, training camp, and somebody's going to give up a first-round pick to come get me, and they are going to pay me money. I don't think it's smart for the San Francisco 49ers to pay Brandon Aiyuk in the ballpark of the Justin Jefferson and those boys $30+ million a year. And I think that is what he is chasing. I think you move on for him and try to get what you can from him.
Can we show the audience the average of the top wide receivers' money? Because I want the wide receivers to have context when James brings up 26, 28, $30 million. Justin Jefferson, he reset the market at $35 million a year through 3 years. No wide receiver has had a more prolific start to their career. A.J. Brown at 32, Amon-Ra at 30. If I'm Aiyuk, that's what I'm looking at.
You looking at who?
30. I'm looking at Amon-Ra straight dead in his eyes. I'm looking at him dead in his eyes. Now, give me my one shot. I'm looking at him dead in his eyes. Y'all not giving me my one shot, so I'm still in the 4 box. But I'm looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown dead in his eyes, and I'm saying, whatever he makes, I get at least 1 penny more. Because Aiyuk is eating on a squad that got Kittle, and Kittle eating. Deebo, and Deebo eating. McCaffrey eating. And here's what we don't talk about enough. Aiyuk is eating, and they don't create space for him to eat. The Cowboys construct their offense so that CeeDee Lamb can get busy. CeeDee, you need to be in the slot, be in the slot. Hey, we gonna motion you, we gonna motion you. Hey, we gonna play action pass you. We will construct it for CeeDee to eat. Aiyuk, go in. But Coach, can I get some motions? Can I get some pre? No, we got to do that for Deebo. But Coach, can I? No, we got to do that for CMC. Aiyuk, they just say, hey, go win. And he goes and wins to the tune of 1,300 yards. So if I'm Aiyuk, I'm saying, y'all better run me my money or send me to somebody who will. That's where I'm at.
So we definitely not denying the type of player he is. We talking about, can the Niners afford to do this? I don't think so.
Okay.
You just said that the Niners are not game planning for Aiyuk. Why?
Too many others to game plan.
Exactly.
Okay.
I got too many people around. You know who the game plan is around in Dallas is CeeDee Lamb. Yep. You know who the game plan is around in Detroit in that passing game? It's Amon-Ra. Yes, they run the ball well, but it's Amon-Ra when we're throwing this ball. It's not necessarily like that because the Niners are looking like we have too many that can get busy and make plays. So that's why I'm saying, is he a great player? Absolutely. But I think it's not with the San Francisco 49ers at the number he wants because they have so many weapons. If he was in Carolina right now, $35 million because he's the only one you got.
Slick, weigh in on this. You've been a Bay Area reporter for a while now.
Yeah, all you guys know that sometimes it's not just numbers and sometimes it's not just pure ability. It's the connection that a wide receiver has with his quarterback. And for me, Brandon Aiyuk has that special connection with Brock Purdy. Aiyuk is the guy that he looks for when things get hot and he gets in trouble. And we only have, it's a small sample, but there's one game where Aiyuk missed last year. It was against the New York Giants. And it was not by far, but Brock Purdy looked as uncomfortable as we've seen him all year long. Shanahan said it, like, this is not one of his best games. And I believe because he didn't have his security blanket there. In the same way that we saw, and this was just 1 year change off, when Dak Prescott had Amari Cooper, and then he lost Amari Cooper, goes to Cleveland, right? He had that adjustment period of a year where he just didn't look the same because he didn't have that one guy that he counted on. We could say CeeDee Lamb's better wide receiver, that he had other options. But it was that one guy he liked to go to, right? That when things got hot. And so that's where I think Aiyuk's value is greater than anything. And fact of the matter is, to your point, like, had the most receptions, 1,300 plus yards, 7 TDs. Like, if you are believing in Brock Purdy, and I believe that Brock Purdy is a product of the talent around him.
Sure.
I don't think he makes other guys better. I think the talent that they have makes him the quarterback that he is. And no one does that more than Brandon Aiyuk.
Really quick before Shady goes, because you guys reminded me yesterday that receiver is one of the easiest spots to come into the National Football League and ball out in.
Busy.
I don't know if a lot of people have watched Ricky Purcell, but he's Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah, similar.
Extremely, really good route runner, really good hands, don't need motions, don't need none of that, create space. That's him. You know what I mean? So that's why I think the Niners prepared for this moment.
Do y'all think the Niners are a better team without Brandon Aiyuk?
Absolutely not.
They're not. So when I look at the Niners, especially on the offense, I think the biggest impactful player they have, I would say Debo, right? Going to the game and just being a fan and watching him, he gets everybody into it, from the offense and to the defense, the way he plays.
Say him over Christian?
Let me finish. I think the best offensive weapon is Christian McCaffrey, right? Catch the ball, run the ball. You need a big play, he's going to give it to you, right? I think Brandon Aiyuk is the type of player where you don't have to scheme nothing up for him, right? Like where everywhere else, I feel you have to scheme it up
Line
for
up
him,
and play.
right? Even Kittle. Kittle, they do a good job of scheming things up for him too, right? His skill set and all that, he's really good. Brandon, you can go out there and run any route you need to run, right? Make any play you need to make. I just feel like the stuff he's been doing these last 2 years, the stuff he's accomplished, he's all-pro,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Like he deserves to get paid. Now, as I look at this number sheet of everybody getting paid, Jefferson at 35 is a lot. A.J. Brown, 32. But then when St. Brown comes in the picture, though, if I'm an agent, I'm the same way you are. I'm like, yo, I'm at this 30 mark because he ain't Tyreek Hill, and I ain't Tyreek Hill, but I think I'm just as good or better than him, right? So that'll be a good comparison. So I would pay Brandon Aiyuk. I would pay him.
Now, lastly, Shady, real quick, I got to go to break. Would you pay him if you're the Niners, or would you pay him in general? In the sense, like, I think Aiyuk needs to make $30 million somewhere.
I would pay him for the Niners just because you got a young quarterback that's good, that's not great, that benefits off the players around him. I don't want to play this game, right, and you take one of his key pieces away. Because all we know about Brock Purdy is that he's a good quarterback. Yes.
Yeah.
And you start taking him away and all that, and you hope that the Niners are going to go back to the NFC Championship game because they're that good or this, that. You don't know that. Let's keep what we have here, and let's win a championship. And then when we win a championship, then let's start breaking these guys up.
That's smart. Well said. Well, speaking of winning championships, the Celtics just did about 36 hours ago. But the question is this: are they an all-time championship team? Yo, welcome you into one.
My man, you know. Hey, don't tell on me, though. You know what I mean?
Hey, Coach already seen you. That's 10K out the check.
Yeah, bro. You know what it is, the fine system. I ain't say
Why
nothing.
the freak the rookies didn't tell me I was in the bathroom?
I said, knock your hair now, Coach, like that.
Hey, don't do me like that. Hold on. Let me kill the music. Let me kill the music. If you've never been in an NFL locker room, allow us to welcome you into one. It's my favorite segment on television, in large part because of these two. Now, here is the conversation today, y'all. Jalen Hurts, y'all know he struggled last year after going to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, where there's a quote that says Jalen Hurts needs to have a good year this year, or he's going to get that Carson Wentz treatment. They're going to Carson Wentz him. Now, remember, the Eagles, after Carson Wentz took them to the Super Bowl, helped take them to the Super Bowl with a great season. Obviously, they drafted Jalen Hurts roughly 2 years later. Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl a year ago. One more bad season, we'd be 2 years removed. Shady, you know Howie Roseman. I know Howie Roseman. I was texting with Howie Roseman, I think it was last week, general manager for the Eagles. You're the all-time leading rusher, though. Let's talk about it. Can Jalen Hurts get that Carson Wentz treatment with another bad season?
It's crazy because I was talking to Howie yesterday. We was texting. And knowing him, nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. I will say this. I think that Jalen Hurts, man, might get a pass, right? I think because last year, we've only seen Jalen Hurts get better and better every year.
Yeah.
Right? He's been in the league. But last year was different. And I think it's a lot of different things you could point to, different coordinators. The coordinator left, right? And they had a whole another coordinator in there, and that has something to do with it. The play calling, new players, like all these different things did happen. The defense looked terrible. So it's one thing if our best player, most important player had a bad year by itself.
Yeah.
No, everybody had a bad year, right? Defense was terrible. And that's one of the better points of our team that took us to the Super Bowl. So I do think that Jalen will get a pass. But with Howie, bro, he's always trying to get better. He's always trying to get better. So I would say, if I had to guess, I would say no. I think Jalen will have some time, right? Maybe 2 or 3 more years. But you never know.
It's interesting, Jay, because in Philly, you don't get 2 or 3 more years.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, Mike Vick signed a $100 million deal. in Philly. Then after about 3 years, they said, look, you need to take this 1 year, $7 million deal or you gone. Mike Vick was our starter. He struggled through 6 weeks. He pulled a hammy. Nick Foles came in.
And never got his job back.
Vic never got his job back.
I was third in rushing, and they traded me that year.
Traded you.
Third in rushing.
I was Chip
Now,
Kelly.
obviously, different dude. Same organization, different dude. Remember, Nick Foles led us to 2 10-win seasons. We made the playoffs in one of them. 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, touchdown interception ratio, threw 8 touchdowns versus the Raiders.
Yeah.
His gloves, everything in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. 2 years later, we replaced him, Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford had one little meddling season. Carson Wentz show up. Carson Wentz helps lead the Eagles with Nick Foles to the Super Bowl. 2 years later, they draft Jalen Hurts. Howie Roseman said he wants a quarterback factory. So James in Philly, it's not like Green Bay, big dog. Y'all had 3 quarterbacks in the last 30 years.
That was bullying y'all.
In Philly, they turn around now.
In the front office. Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, they wouldn't have been bullying Philly like that.
They just was ballers like that, so it wasn't even no question. At least question.
Here's my question, though.